Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Mad Tinker Gaming with me, your host, Mad Tinker. Now, the last video I put out when I was talking about the top 10 characters that my alliance and I had kind of talked about and put them together in a list for you all. I did receive some good constructive criticism, and I want to give credit to these guys out there. Some of them are, well, let's face it, they're just being a little argumentative. But it's constructive criticism. First, I want to explain, and hopefully these guys will be able to follow with me, that I was not recommending T4's. Okay, I'm not trying to recommend T4's. When I was saying like Minerva only requires 6664, that's professional guys telling you that. Now, however, when I looked at mine, and I showed you mine, where I had gone and put T4 abilities on her, like I have showing you right here, most of that was truthfully mistakes when I first got the character made. I'm not saying waste them on her. She doesn't need it. When you're looking at it, don't take what I've got on my screen here as what you need to put on your tunes, okay? Please do research on them, because she doesn't require bioweapon max. She doesn't require Kree nanotech to be T4'd. She is just a very good character, and when I first got her, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to max her all the way out because I had a bunch of T4s sitting around, and it turns out I made mistakes. I was not very good, and I'm kind of new to this too, so I want to clarify some of those. And like Rocket Raccoon up here, where I showed Rocket, somebody was saying you're trying to recommend T4ing Rocket's passive but not Groot's. No, I am not. They are on here because I did them, and at the time when I was doing some of these characters, when they were first coming out, I'm like, oh, I'm a fan of Rocket Raccoon, I'm just going to max them all out. Maximum damage is the only one on there that I think is truthfully worth maybe T4ing. And I'm not an expert. I don't break them down and piecemeal them out. I'm just trying to relay information that I had got from watching other channels as to which ones are good and which ones are not. However, in the end, it all boils down to what you, as a viewer and player of the game, decide to do with your T4s. I mean, I can't tell you where to put them. They're your T4s. And I'm not a good suggestive person. I don't research T4s in depth. When I was passing that information on to people, I was using things that I had heard from Casino, Valley Flying, OMG, and those guys are pros. They're like top tier players. They've done a lot more research into this than I have. I just wanted to let you know that those were the list of the top 10 characters that we had found. So please don't take what I had on my screen as a recommendation, because trust me, Expert Tinker and Rocket Rifle are not T4s that you should put your materials into. And I also want to give credit out to Caleb Bruce for pointing that out to me, that sometimes maybe my screen and the way I'm talking make it seem like I'm recommending these. I don't want to be known for giving people bad information, okay? So let me clarify. I'm not here to point out T4s for y'all. And if I bring up my screen and you see some really odd T4s on here, note, I was an idiot when I first started playing the game, and I make mistakes. I'm a human being, and I mean, I'm sure everybody's put a T4 ability on somebody that they just really regret. Like, I mean, some of them, when you first get the character and you're reading them, you're like, oh man, this sounds absolutely amazing, and then it turns out it would be absolutely useless for you to put a T4 on it because somebody else has play tested it and worked it out and done mathematics on it, where I have not. One prime example is I really like Astral Butterflies on Psylocke. It sounds wonderful, but nobody's T4ing it. You know why? Because it's not worth T4ing. So, once again, I want to explain that I am not here to pick T4s for people. I might give you some information about what I've read or heard about the T4s that are supposed to be on the character. And typically, if I have alternate stuff on my characters, I'll explain why I put it on there. But most of the time, it's just like some of these are just not useful. They're not good for you to have T4s on. Like rocket rifle, even though it's, ooh, wow, you get plus 5% crit, 20% damage to your primary target, 40% damage to your secondary targets. It's a nice damage boost, but it's a waste of a T4 when you could put it into more prime things. Now, however, like I said, if you are a guy who's just been sitting on tons of T4 materials and are a completionist, and you're like, I'm going to make sure all of my Guardians are all maxed everything, then fine. Those are great. If not, don't worry about it. But I wanted to clarify that. I wanted to put that up and make sure a disclaimer is out there in a video of mine so that y'all know that I'm not here to pick T4s for you. I mean, I don't have the time to do that kind of research, but if I know that, say, Valley Flying or OMG or Casino or all three of them where I watched their videos and they've recommended certain things, you know, like, hey, you don't need but 6664 on Minerva. Well, I'm going to tell you, you don't need but 6664 on Minerva. And then when you're looking at mine, you're like, well, you're a dummy. You've got a level 7 in bioweapon and a level 5 in Kree nanotech. I'm going to tell you that it was because I was probably an idiot and did it before I had the information. I'm not, you know, I'm only human. I'll make my mistakes. But I wanted to apologize for not clarifying that. I didn't want people to take my information as, oh, this is the next new thing. You should be paying attention to this. This is how you need to do your character. Please research your T4s before you put them on so that you don't make the mistakes I did when I first got characters. T4s are really hard to come by as a grinder. I understand that, so please don't waste those. Put them on characters that you're really going to use and really focus on, and research them a little better than I did when I first got some of these characters. That's all I really wanted to say about this one. So I'm going to put this one up as just a short disclaimer video, and maybe later tonight I'll get on to another video that I want to do about best teams, or the top 10 teams maybe. I've been trying to talk through this with some of my alliance members, and we're going to figure out what we can do to help grinders like you and me maybe pick better teams for assaults in war or defenses in war, and work on those characters, because everything is vital in this game. All of your management of all of your resources, it comes down to that. I mean, if you have a lot of excess, great. If you don't have a lot of excess, you grind for it, and it's rough. So anyway, I'll probably be doing another video later today, and I hope that you will take this as an apology for the people who took my stuff as like, oh, you have to T4 your stuff this way. It was not meant for you to take it and be like, you have to T4 your stuff this way. It was meant for you to maybe hear that you only needed the 6664 on people like Minerva, and then maybe when you see mine and it's not right, you realize that I'm trying to tell you not to do it. Don't do those mistakes. Don't put those things up there. And when I was talking about Rocket Raccoon, stuff like that, and Groot, these things up here, that's just stuff that I did. It's not pro level. So please don't take it as what my T4s are or what your T4s should be. I am not in a top 100 alliance, like I said, but I am a pretty decent player in my opinion. I've worked hard for the last couple of years, and I'm hoping that I can build upon this and learn more. And like I said, I always watch other videos as well before I make final decisions. So please be very careful. Look up best T4s for your characters and use those. That way you'll get the best reviews, or sorry, best use out of your characters possible, unlike me where I've put stuff in places that I didn't need to. But that's my apology to you, and I wanted to give a shout out to Caleb Bruce for letting me get that information. He just said, please don't recommend T4s because people will listen to you and they'll start putting stuff in places that it doesn't need to go. So please don't. If you see my Rocket Raccoon looks like all jacked up, I mean, if you're looking at my screen now, he's jacked up. No professional player would have a Rocket Raccoon with rocket rifle and expert tinker T4. So anyway, that's me apologizing to you all. Don't take my T4s as canon that are on my characters. If that's what you need to make them look like. Instead, do some research. Like, as far as group goes, I've heard of people passiving this, but I mean, it seemed like it was not needed. And from what I've heard, 6664 is the way to go for group. So those were the three that I believe people had hit me most on. Was like Minerva, how I had T4s on her, how I had recommended passiving Rocket Raccoon, but not Groots. And I'm like, no, I really don't. And I wanted to clarify that. I didn't want people to think that I am telling you what T4s to put where. I'm just trying to give you some information about the top characters and where they've got their stuff. Mine does not look like where the actual pro players are supposed to have it, but I can't remove them. It's not like I can get them back. So that's my apologies to you and to clarify. And once again, shout out to Caleb Bruce. Thank you for watching my videos, brother, and giving me that feedback. It'll make me a better video maker in the future. And like always, if you watch these videos, please hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you like the videos. And if you want to see more, hit the little notification icon. That way, every time I put one up, you'll get notified. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you. Bye.